world is changing. The world is changing, and so does change. But the mind has the potential to capture the changing world and make every change count. At Skillsmindset, the leading global skills, strategy and corporate development company, we believe that the mind has the potential of transforming the man from obscurity to prominence. It's the reason why we make skills our business. At Skillsmindset, we stand for change, for development and for success. We challenge, we inspire and we lead. With Skillsmindset, your limit is just the beginning. Welcome to Skillsmindset. For more information about the great service we provide, please visit our website on www.skillsmindset.com or give us a call on our UK number on 07957 676 193. Better still, send us an email on info@skillsmindset.com. Skills Mindset. Challenging limits, maximizing opportunities.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Thank you for joining us. We are actually waiting for our guest speaker today, who apparently is running a bit, running an issue with his IT. I hope he'll be able to join us in time. So, how have you been doing today?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Looking forward to this.
Oh, lovely.
Today's
Lovely.
session and the discussion.
Yeah. Thank you so much for taking time to join us as well. This is what we try to do to ensure that we can share experiences and, of course, some expertise that we have, and then encourage people to inspire, for greatness. So this is what it is. A lot of people will be joining, participants will be joining, or attendees from various platforms that we have, such as the YouTube, LinkedIn, and then of course on Facebook. So what it is now is that while we're waiting for our guest speaker to join us, maybe we can just start having some discussion around the topic, if that's okay with you. And then, of course, if people would like to ask questions, yes, they are obliged to do so. Okay, while we are discussing, we're waiting for our guest. Let me formally, therefore, welcome you to this program, and welcome everyone as well. Okay.
Thank you.
So, so this is the Skillsmindset Masterclass. It's our monthly virtual live seminar. And welcome everyone, and greetings to you once again, to all of you that are joining us and that will be joining us on this program tonight, or depending on where you're joining from and what time zone it is. So we are thrilled to have you join us for the live session of this exclusive and transformative Skillsmindset Masterclass that is hosted by Skillsmindset. Please let us know where you are joining us from, the city, and of course the country. We'll be grateful if we know where you are joining us from, so that we can, appreciate your attendance. And then, of course, we can also give you a shout out. All right. So please feel free to let us know where you are joining us from. You can just tell us your name, the city in which you are, and in the country that city is. That will be very helpful for management, and of course, for us to be able to acknowledge and appreciate you as well. So thank you so much for that. Also, like I said, welcome to an exciting moment as we'll embark on a journey together to explore the power mind resource of experienced experts. Together, we will uncover and enhance opportunities in skills development, business progression, and professional growth, without leaving out the need, for everyone. So today our discussion focuses on a stimulating and captivating topic: youth investment, leadership, and industrialization. We are privileged to have, an advocate for youth empowerment joining us on this episode of our masterclass. And in, our speaker we are expecting, but in his absence at the moment, we will go, continue to do what we can do, having a discussion around the topic, and when and if he is able to join us, that will be fantastic. We will be glad to have him. We prepare for this day, but technology can bring things to play. So again, additionally, we are joined by a proficient and experienced personality who is deeply informed in this area as well. So at the moment, I want just to welcome Abba Christilolu, who is a British Nigerian research consultant who currently resides in London. With over 3 decades of experience, he has dedicated his career to teaching and conducting research. And that has much, that well I know. He worked as a Commonwealth, academic staff school in the United Kingdom. He also taught history, diplomacy, and international studies, at the Olabisi Onabanjo University and Babcock University back in Nigeria. Throughout his career, he has received research fellows or fellowship collaborations and awards from prestigious institutions such as the Universities of Essex, Oxford, Cambridge, Cardiff, Edinburgh, Canterbury, Christchurch in the UK, as well as the University of Tampere in Finland, and others in Canada and France. In addition to his academic pursuit, Abba has actually and actively participated in Commonwealth development and educational policy processes through summit and roundtable organized by the Council for Commonwealth Education and, of course, British House of Lords. He's also passionate about community development and political activism. In 2015, I'm aware, he ran for parliament and had the honor of meeting with the late Queen Elizabeth II in 2004. Abba had, the opportunity to visit, study, and live in over a dozen countries across the globe. Abba Christilolu, you are welcome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So that's a good one. We know the kind of work you are doing. We know how intense your work has been over decades. I am aware clearly of how much time and input you have in the area of research, and then outstanding discourse around different and multiple topics, particularly touching on nations development or growth, economic growth, and political development as well among nations, and particularly where you live in the United Kingdom, most especially in London. So today we are looking at a topic that, of course, still boils down to development, particularly global economic growth when we're talking about industrialization. Now, today we are we're looking at how youth development, or youth investment can enhance, economic growth, globally. And of course, with specific reference to some countries or direct reference to some continent, if need be. Now, investing in the youth and fostering leadership skills is a crucial, for sustainable industrialization and economic growth. That's what we know. Friends and those who are listening to us, let's dive into today's masterclass therefore topic, talking about youth investment, leadership, and industrialization, as we welcome Abba Christilolu into this. And then, of course, we will continue with this discussion, like I said, until when we have a speaker coming on. And if he's able to join us before we finish, that would be fantastic. Otherwise, we will be discussing this issue, talking around this until when it comes. So, Mr. Mr. President, what have you got to say around youth investment, leadership, industrialization? What are your thoughts?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And I share my goodwill and greetings with whoever may be with us online at this time. Um, Youth investments, leadership, and industrialization. That's an important topic, I'd say. And it's also a very broad topic. So it probably will be useful for us to start by having some definitions and parameters of what we are referring to while we are trying to unpack this topic of youth investment, leadership, and industrialization. I would suggest that youth will refer to young people who are probably transitioning between the formal schooling age to making their first entries into the world of work and careers.
Mm.
That will probably capture your age range between the teenage years and your 30s and maybe 40s. Of course, by the time you're in your 40s, I think you've transitioned away from the youth bracket. You should be in the mid, you should be entering into the mid-age bracket. However, it is not a rigid boundary, as it were. You could still regard yourself as a youth, even though you may be in your 40s.
Mm.
Youth investment, what does that mean exactly? I would suggest that the first place that the investment would be relevant for the youth, therefore, based on the age range that we had already outlined, you're talking about investments from the educational perspective going into the workplace. And that would also mean you're speaking about a coalition of forces, both public and private, government resources, government effort, and the public sector and the private sector environment. Depending on which part of the world you're looking at, you are clearly speaking about a very wide range of realities, dreams, hopes, and expectations. In better run societies and environments, the schools are stable, the curriculum are developed, the structure has been there for year on year, and they only tinker at the edges to try and fine tune from time to time. For a lot of developing and development challenged environment, however, you may have a whole different ball game playing out. So in a place like various places in Africa, especially where you have conflict, the assumption of a stable education may not even exist at all. So if you're talking about conflict zones, for example, I think I was listening to the news a day or two ago, and the news was reporting that young people who were meant to be sitting exams in Gaza could not sit for any exams. That's understandable. It's a war environment. Their schools buildings are being bombed. There are no structures, so exams cannot take place. Therefore, again, I'm still just trying to speak to the very wide spectrum of reality as to the topic we're trying to unpack here. You could be talking about youth investment in education, which is taken for granted and is stable and is available. Or you could be talking about youth investment in education in environments where it doesn't even. And am I still with you? I think the feed cut out and came back in. Right? Can you hear me? Okay, good. I'm going to continue. So, depending on what is happening in any particular area, the environment of investment itself will be either wholesome or challenged. And if you could get the investment environment right, you've provided proper educational facilities and opportunities for the youth. They are on their way, therefore, to becoming part of the stream that flows into an environment of being groomed and trained and mentored for leadership. And if you succeed in one and the other, you can transition for a couple of them who may be interested in industrialization. Therefore, one
Yeah.
follows on to the other. The way you structure the investment in the youth, primarily in the area of education, the way in which the society supports the family unit in which the youth are situated will enhance or detract from the ability of the society and the people around them to mentor them into leadership. And how
Mm.
well they become trained and mentored into leadership and become leaders in themselves will have a knock-on effect on industrialization. So that would be the
Yeah.
broad stroke in which you could paint the connections between the segments of the topic we're talking about. And
Mm.
before I just pause for you to come back in with maybe follow-on question, it follows, therefore, that every society, every human community and aggregation that really wants to take the question of investment, leadership, and industrialization seriously must pay attention to doing the basic things right. The first basic thing
Mm.
to get right is to invest in education and make sure that the teachers are well remunerated, the school are well resourced, the children are enabled to be enthusiastic about going to school to learn. And when they do that, their natural leadership skills will come to the fore. And you can also
Mm.
help them develop that. And they can become economic actors and industrialize and be productive. I think I'll
Yeah.
pause that.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much for that. That's key. If I can a bit summarize what you just said, or perhaps put it in its similar or slightly, different outlook, is that the whole process of youth development, leadership, and industrialization refers to to a way of providing youth or young people with the skill set or education or awareness. In other words, the opportunities and resources they need to grow and develop their skills, isn't it? Knowledge and confidence, which of course includes education, training, and personal development activities that prepares them for the workforce and civil engagement. Of course, global platform where they can strive, and of course, the opportunity that is available. Um, I'd like to introduce a bit of leadership into this now. I know you've mentioned things around that, but in the context of youth, leadership development is about nurturing the potentials of young people, also to take on leadership roles within their communities and industries. And I can tell from your own particular practical experience when it went in 2000 and was it 15 that you know contested an election in the United Kingdom to be an MP. It's a platform that gave you the opportunity to express or to wanted to express, not only be to be not only to participate, but of course that you got a message that you want people to hear. You got something to offer, and you had a platform and the skill set that is needed to do that, and which was very fantastic at that time. So I think again, it's a show of leadership in that respect, because again, regardless of the skills, regardless of the education, regardless of the knowledge that the young people may have or that may be available, if there is no conducive platform for them that leadership is necessarily have to create, then it's just not, it's just going to be a waste of time and resources. So again, leadership is key in the process of things, and it involves teaching them how to be effective leaders, which includes decision making, policy, problem solving, and influencing other positive opportunities. I know clear well that there are issues around youth development and leadership, particularly when you look at the global youth emancipation or involvement, I can put it that way. You will realize that the energy, the skills, the innovative ideas, and the aspiration they have is majorly or largely devoted or diverted and, of course, expressed on some particular industry, which, of course, gives a bit of a concern because they are not necessarily as much as you will expect in the political sphere, you know, other than to be involved in the activism of it, but in talking in terms of involvement and participation in it, which I think will be more productive and more positive rather than just being, yes, it's good to be putting, calling the government to order, and of course, calling them to making sure that you can call them to question. But it's also very important that you be part of the decision making policy and process. That is key. That is leadership. It is not all about chanting and louding, which of course is very respectable. But I'm talking in terms of the where you can channel the skills and the ability of young, vibrant people into productive and development and industrialization we have in the nation. Other than particularly African youth, if you see it on the social media, it's kit everybody is doing social media promoting, which is cool. That's what we have. But how do you translate that skill and energy with more concrete and physical offline thing? Governance is not all about online thing. It's you got to be present and you got
I,
to know
I,
people.
ag- I agree with you. I agree with the point you're making.
Yeah.
It's instructive, however, to also realize that the nature of human beings are basically the same everywhere. The first instinct of most people everywhere, especially when they're younger and growing up, they're not keen or interested in politics or getting involved in party political electoral competition. It's normal, it's natural. I didn't stand for parliament until I was quite well into it. I was closer to 50 than my youthful days when I decided to run. And when I ran for parliament too, I ran out of a sense of disappointment with the quality of leadership that we have in the political space. In other words, even me as someone who'd eventually threw in my lot to get involved at the highest levels of political contestation here in the UK, I was not an early convert. Therefore, I'm not going to blame any youth for not being interested in partisan politics. The reason is simple. If governments everywhere were doing their jobs right, if politicians were delivering as they should, there'll be no need for everybody to head into politics or to try to get politically active. Politics is just one of those levers that is meant to make the environment conducive for people to get on with their lives and to contribute their bit to society. And importantly, too, since we're talking about youth, leadership, and industrialization, in other words, we're talking about the realities now and the future. The fact is, the world of work, the world of industry, is going to change quite dramatically from what it is today. In another 5, 10, 15, 20 years, some have suggested that up to 80% of the jobs that we know today, 80%, 8 in 10, will not be, they will not exist. They will either have changed completely out of recognition or they will have been replaced. I'm an historian. I've got a long memory of an historian who is read through human development through the long epoch. It is obvious that change occur again and again in human society, and nobody is ever able to stop change. It doesn't matter how much you love the status quo, you will not prevent a change from occurring. What intelligent people and societies do, therefore, is not only exist in the present, but cast their gaze and try and imagine what's going to come next and prepare themselves and their society to better welcome this future, which is just tomorrow, your metaphoric tomorrow, and be in a position where they can thrive and flourish in the world that is coming. Tomorrow is here already, and therefore, investments in the youth and training for leadership and looking out for the industry also means that we are following the trends where they're going. The trend is into data, is into the world of artificial intelligence, it's into the world of games and whatever it is there is. How well is, say, African countries and developing societies, how well are they positioning themselves? How well is the curriculum being adjusted to reflect the new challenges, the new opportunities, and the new problems that are going to arise? Those are going to speak to the practicalities of the investment that is made in the youth and their capacity to be able to grow into leaders and to sustain the society in a positive manner. Therefore, the point I'm making is this. Yes, part of what I took away from getting involved in politics was to say it's a good thing to encourage people to get involved in politics. And I encourage young people to go into politics early too. In fact, if somebody had mentored me to go into politics early, I may have made better impact than I was able to make as an older person getting involved in politics. So get involved at the grassroots level, get involved in your community as a young person and be available. The other good thing is this. In this day and age, we're able to do several things simultaneously. You're not in the era where you're tied down to one role, one job, one reality. You can be an actor and at the same time holding down a full-time job, and you can be running a side gig as whatever. You yourself, as an example, you're producing this very useful skill mindset masterclass. You've got your job, you've got your vocation, you've got your businesses that you're running. So everybody can multitask in that sense now. Therefore, of the structural investment that we need to begin to provide and encourage for the youth is to multitask, is to tell
Yeah.
them, yeah, while you attend to your career, attend to your dreams, attend to whatever it is you're doing, get involved, have your hand in all of the pies that are available. And the opportunity may just arise that you actually become much more relevant in an area where your interest was not terribly keen for starters. It may turn out that you are propelled to become the president of a country you weren't imagining you were going to govern. How well you're going to do in that office will have to do with the level of preparation and investment you've made in yourself before you get into office. One of the big tragedies in our political spaces is most of those who go into politics as their core ambition and focus are useless because all they have to offer is their ambition. Many of them just have this vain ambition to be prime minister or member of parliament or president or
Mm.
governor. They do not have any other program other than becoming that symbolic official.
Yeah.
That's one of the worst kind of characters that should end up in there. They get in there and they don't have any program, they don't have any vision.
Yeah.
Therefore, you need more of those who actually have a lot of things going for them. They're entrepreneurs. They are well educated. They've already seen the problems with education too. They can understand the fact that education has some good and negative side. You may be well educated. At the end of the day, you may have ended up becoming boxed. Therefore, one of the examples I give, I'm well educated. I've schooled right around the world to all of the levels. But I still say to people, some of the most successful entrepreneurs and innovators around the world stepped out of formal education. Your Bill Gates, your Steve Jobs, your Alan Sugar, your quite a number of examples. What's the man with Virgin? There are people who, at some point, decided to pursue their driving ambition and dreams, and they realized it. They realized it so well that they are the richest people around the globe now. Therefore,
Mm.
while education is good, education, the real purpose, the core use for education is to train your mind to be able to think and
Mm.
free your spirit to be able to seize initiative and run with it. Education that
Mm.
turns you into just another um, automaton, another robot in the 9 to 5 is not necessarily
Mm.
an liberating education. Therefore, for those who would transition from the start to leadership to having global effect, they've got to be open to do a lot of things, acquire a
Mm.
lot of skills, and apply it.
Yeah. That's very true. That's very true. While you're talking, I just trying to see, how we can, how this can be a bit easier or in terms of presentation now.
Okay.
Although you mentioned a few things about the essence or the reason, well, I say the depth of why people, particularly young people, are looking at politics as number one, or if they must go in there, they're going in there because of number one, maybe the fame, the positioning, the opportunities in terms of affluence and whatever it is, which is personal and private, in terms of enrichment and endowment, if you like, rather than policy making, decision making, change, agent of change and progress. It becomes a very concerning situation that they rather therefore remain where they are, looking and using technology that is afford them, or what benefit technology can afford them to advance their cause. But again, the whole essence of this as well is to be able to let people know that youth development and leadership is very important, because the combination of that, particularly with industrialization, will have focused on integrating young people into the industrial sector, isn't it? It will have given it will have been about the creating policies, investing in technology and skills development, and fostering an environment where young people can contribute to and drive sustainable industrial growth, because that's what the influence, that's where the expectation is. And the goal is to create a synergy between the youthful, you know, energy and innovative potential of young people with the structure and systemic growth, and of course, industries. This not only helps in addressing the challenges of rapid technological and environmental changes, but also ensures a sustainable future for a skilled and capable workforce. Because again, uh, yes, only emphasize or know that yes, in the next 10 years or 5 years, maybe sooner, the old dynamics of workforce is changing. In fact, the world itself is changing. A lot of things will be AI and all that will have transform the whole thing. So in the next 5 years, I believe, maybe not even up to 10 years, we will be seeing a bit of a redefinition or defining the way we do things, and then of course the way things are done. So and so in to that or to grow into that is what this discussion is all about. It's about how do we empower you, because again, we're focusing on the youth and focusing on young people because they've got a whole lot of time. I mean, when I say time, they've got the future for them, and we are youth anyway, so we still have time to work with the change, grow with the change, and advance the cause of change. So I, I want to leave that with you to see, how the whole essence of youth empowerment or development, the presence
Yeah.
of environment and leadership leading to industrialization. Yeah.
Good points here. You've enumerated. Another thing that occurred to me as you spoke is to ask the question: what are those things that probably should be happening? What are the things we could facilitate to
Hmm.
plant the seeds for the kind of growth and realities that we desire and that we envisage? Um,
Hmm.
that's not going to be answers for that kind of questions are not necessarily all going to come at a go. Um, these are things you keep thinking about all of the time, and you and you implement in stages. Um, but yes, the one of the areas, for example, where the youth are doing very well, particularly in Africa, in Nigeria, for example, is the creative industry, is music, um, and they've been quite successful at that. They produce. I mean, growing up, most of the music I listened to when I was growing up started with LPs, long play music, and then it transitioned into cassettes, and eventually there were the start of the musical videos. Therefore, in our days, um, you have to do the physical, physically demanding task of actually bringing your music together. Now, is at the touch of a button. You can go on YouTube and
Exactly.
watch um, beautiful video production of the music you want to listen to, and they'll be dancing to accompany. You can get the lyrics too to sing along if you want. All of those were not possible. Now they are possible. The reality is this: the human condition grows by accumulation, by increment. And
Hmm.
at what else are we going to harness together to get the additional progress that is going to be needed from time to time? And not forgetting, as a development analyst, getting a sense that we started with questions. Usually, the human history tells that the human species will start with a question. They don't necessarily get the answer they were looking for. And sometimes by the time they get the answer, they've forgotten the original question. And what do I mean by
Hmm.
that? This is one part of reality that I will hope the present crop of young people will not only be aware of, but gain a good understanding of, so that they can become effective, better leaders for the future. And it's this: we,
Hmm.
as a species, We've created enough now, enough materially to ensure that there is nobody that is poor. There's enough food being produced in the world that everybody should be well fed, nobody hungry. There is
Yeah.
enough resource created that everybody should be well taken care of. Unfortunately, we still live in a world where there is still a whole load of hunger. More than half of the world is still racked by basic needs as shelter and clothing. Why is that? It's a question of the priorities we have created for ourselves. If your original plan was to take care of hunger and stay alive and flourish, we have the means to do it now. But by the time we will get the means, people have forgotten the original question. They are now chasing peripheral goals, which has nothing to do with the preservation, the dignity, and the progress of everybody, of the collective. We've arrived at the place where we're now in history, partly because we organized around the concept of competition. Competition powered by greed and selfish, self centered outlook. We should go past that now, but we've got dinosaurs as political leaders. And when I say dinosaurs, it doesn't mean they're necessarily old. There are younger people in political control that are dinosaurs in their thinking. Rishi Sunak, the British Prime Minister, is younger than I am. I'm older than him. But in failing to understand the need to transition from a system that is organized around just catering to the greed of the few at the top, you are losing an opportunity to take the whole society along with you to a better place. So I hope the youth, if they're listening to this, will get this challenge that I'm throwing. That don't think like a dinosaur. Don't think all of the food you had for your belly. You can only eat so much. After you've had your plate of food, that's all. You can't eat anymore. If you corner the whole pot and all you can do is eat a plate and you waste the whole pot, you're a fool. You're an idiot. There's not an explanation or name for you. You must understand that the use of the food is to ensure nobody is hungry. So if there are 100 people in the room and the food will go around and all of the 100 people will be well fed, don't be a dinosaur, don't be an idiot by cornering the whole pot, wasting all of it. Those kinds of thinking are the kinds of thinking that had come from the time when there was lack. It's like lizard-mindedness, people who did not evolve from their fear-driven evolution. They are always worried and they are graspy. Hopefully, the younger generation are better evolved than to be thinking like dinosaurs like that. So, I'm saying a lot of things, but I hope I'm clear in saying I'm hoping the next generation, if I've lost hope for your generation and I, that we have been schooled and indoctrinated into greed and we're not able to break out of the bounds. Let's hope the younger generation that is coming will understand that it is meaningless to be corrupt, it's meaningless to be greedy, it's meaningless and idiotic to take on more resources than you need. You are a much more better person, you are a better leader, and you're serving the purpose of the economy, industrialization, and the species and the globe, the precious earth in which we live, when you learn to be equitable in your distribution too. Let the resource goes to where it's needed. Let no child go hungry when some child is dying of obesity. Let no child starve to death when another one has food flowing out of his mouth from overeating. It is the discipline, the leadership, the insight, the intelligence required for a species that is best with enough knowledge as we do now to organize in a better fashion than we have done so far.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. That was very good because you, from what you have just said, you have actually highlighted. I was going to ask about or mention a few things around it, but you've highlighted the benefit of investing in education, particularly at the very beginning of your presentation, and of course, training. Entrepreneurship for young people. They're so diverse in what they do, and it's also, I think, it's one of the environment that has been made available, particularly with technology. Maybe not intentional with the school leadership, if there's anything like that. But you also talk about the case where youth investment are led to innovation and of course impacting on industrial growth, because you mentioned music, and we see how I mean, we know how big that industry is globally at the moment, and it's not likely going down anytime soon. I think if there's anything, it's gonna be growing, because a lot
Yeah.
of people are getting into it. So because the world has been moving away from uh, you know the uh, paper qualification to skills, and which is not wrong to have paper qualification into doing things, but people now use natural skills and develop skills into making life meaningful. And also, it's a defining factor in understanding the meaning of life in itself and the reason why they are here. And that's why creativity is key to anything, even in the corporate world. You've explained that. You've also examined, or you have explored how leadership skills among the youth can also be more or advanced or developed through mentorship, and that is very key. Although I would like if you have a way of discussing that in details in terms of the mentorship program, leadership workshop, and practical experience. I want to just talk about how that can impact you know of strong young youth leadership on industrial project and startup, particularly when you're talking about leadership mentorship. You are talking about your own experience and in terms of coming into politics and all that. And that is that. Don't get me wrong. That does not mean that is when leadership begins with you. No, that's not what I'm saying. But
Mm,
that's a dimension of a expression of leadership quality in you, a way whereby you can actually be part of the influencers in terms of policies, and the projects. So,
mm.
but where would it be the role, particularly with technology? Where would still be the role of leadership and mentorship in this in the mix of this?
I thank you. Clearly, there's nothing that happens in the human space without collaboration. Every idea starts in the mind. Everything we see, however marvelous we've we've turned out, going to space, building a car, building a phone, holding a device to your ear, or putting it on speaker and speaking with somebody on the other end of the world. All of those things started as an idea in the mind of somebody, and it built up. So again, just not to complicate anything at all. The first thing for young people and older people, everyone, is to network, is to find people of like minds who are interested in what you are interested in. And well, scripture says iron sharpens iron. In other words, you come together and interact, you become better by it. There is a path to which you will think in your own head and you get this far. If you find somebody who understands what it is you are thinking about and you rub minds together, you go even further, because there may be aspects of your ideas that you have not thought about that the other person may bring, or there may be
Yeah.
questions he would pose to you that will improve your thinking, or the fact that he's just acting like an echo chamber. You're sounding,
Mhm.
you're vocalizing your ideas to someone, and you are hearing yourself think would help you think even better. Therefore, the first place is for people to group together and do things together. And that's perhaps where the big challenge for our community, and when I talk about our community, I'm talking about
mm,
the African community. That's where it starts from. We are much more adapted for solo performance. We go on our own. We do things alone. And the fact
mm,
that you do things without relating with those around you with whom you could be doing business limits you. The
yeah,
a person can only go as far. Two people, three, four, five. The more the number does not
mm,
multiply, does it the growth is not additional. Two plus two does not equal four in this instance of strength. Two plus two multiplies. In other words, what one person can do, what one person can lift, two persons can probably lift three times what one person can do. Therefore, the much more productive engagement or endeavor should be collaborating. Therefore, what part of what we should begin to do and encourage, which maybe this is doing, is to encourage collaborations, encourage connections between people for progress. Well, we do
mm,
collaborate on some things. Some of the things we do well is that we gather for parties. If uh, if there is a picnic, if there is fun to be had, people gather very easily. Join me for
mm,
barbecue. Give them the address. People will turn up, including people you did invite. However,
mm,
if you say, join me in my house, we're going to sit down to think about starting a business, nobody will turn up. so, so sometimes, again, if you know the nature of people, you adapt your invite to what works. What I've said to
mm,
people before is you attract people what they want. Um, if you talk invite me to a meal and it turns out to be Chinese buffet or Yoruba cuisine of Amala, I'll turn up. But
mm,
if you invite me to Japanese sushi, I'm not likely to come. Why? I haven't come around to accept that I should be eating raw fish. So there will be those who love sushi who will turn up. But if the headline was sushi meat, let's gather to eat sushi, I won't talk or not. Okay. So what I'm saying in effect is use what works for people, what attracts people to invite them in. So don't go fishing. And I mean, if I have a bowl of marshmallow, who do you think I will attract? I will attract children, young people who like sweet things. If I take my marshmallow, put it on a fish hook, and throw it in the river, no fish is likely to go for my marshmallow.
mm,
Even though young people will crowd around marshmallow, marshmallow is a wrong bait for fish. So again, the point I'm making is this: find the appropriate lure, the appropriate bait to get people together. So if I know
yeah,
that your interest is development, I can say, look, let's get together to further development. But while we are at development, you also become richer. You get more money flow into your pocket. I'm likely to get your attention because
yeah,
yeah, that's your forte. So
mm,
that's what we need to begin to do. Um,
mm,
I've dabbled into politics, like you said. So if you were to tell me there's a captive audience of young people in a secondary school or university or wherever who want someone to come and talk to them and inspire them about getting involved in politics, I'll jump at it because I like
mm,
that. It's my thing. So yeah, we should find the things that where we share interests, where our interests overlap, and
yeah,
use it to build communities for progress, communities for investments, communities for group leadership,
mm,
communities for industrialization, communities for progress. I hope
yeah.
that makes sense.
Very well, very true, Very true. Although because of time, I was going to say that from what you just said in the last few your last few words, it shows there clearly that there are, of course, where there are possibilities and potentials and benefits to youth development, investment and all that. It comes with its challenges.
Yeah.
There are some challenges that you were trying to outline some of them while you were discussing, but of course it could be a bit more explained or presented in terms of the challenges faced by industries today, particularly the nature and the scope of industry today, or the picture of industry today. That comes with challenges such as even technological changes, globalization, and environmental concerns. So and what more? These are part of challenges that we've been facing in industries today. But of course, how do we therefore discuss how youth with their adaptability and innovative mindset can address some of these challenges moving forward?
I don't have worries for the youth. They, they've
Mm,
they've got more ideas than they can run with, and that's almost not normal for any average person.
mm,
I get more ideas than I could possibly run in several lifetimes together, and I don't think I'm unusual in that sense. The
mm,
important thing will be to recognize the idea for which time has arrived. What do
mm.
I mean by that? So Machiavelli, what's his name? Michelangelo, for example.
Yeah.
So I'm mixing up the names now. Who am I trying to recall? Had drawings of what is um, aircraft from 5, 6, 700 years back, but we didn't have enough convergence of advancement of knowledge for him to
Mm,
create his airplane or helicopter.
yeah.
That was an idea, but it was an idea that arrived to him way too early. So, one of the important things that needs to happen is for people to begin to learn the practice of knowing the ideas for which time has arrived. So, you
Mm,
can pick an idea that is applicable now, that you can run now, and that will work now, and therefore give you more resources to go on to the next idea.
mm,
I will not um, damage that advice by trying to be explicit.
mm,
Each person that hears what I've just said should be able to think, okay, this idea, I've got these 10 ideas. I think these three are still in the future. They can't happen now. So I won't bother with
mm,
them. I'll keep them in view. These ones
yeah.
I can run with now. So I will take these ones I can run with now and find if I need somebody to
Yeah.
run it with, and it will happen. So that's what everybody needs to do, youth, old, whatever our age, is to find the
Mm,
ideas for which time has come, or ideas that we are in a position to take to fruition and
mm,
begin to implement it, whether on
mm,
solo or by collaboration or by
yeah.
phase. You can start phase one. And when I see just how successful this phase of it is, I don't need convincing to join you to go to the next phase. So you've got
Mm,
an idea. You've started this uh, this broadcast, Skills Mindset.
mm,
And it's like, fantastic. We both taught in the university in the past,
mm,
and I bring an idea that we can take it forward, and then before you know it, we've got the university online.
yeah.
We don't need physical walls anymore to teach,
Yeah.
to reach the world. So yes, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Being conscious and sensitive to recognize ideas for whose time has come, and then picking it up to run with them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I mean, you can. Thank you for taking the initiative to attend as well, to join us on this episode and this discussion. I mean, we couldn't have had more. This is guest we could have. Incidentally, our guest speaker couldn't make it.
Okay.
His IT is a problem. He couldn't just get around that, which we understand. Sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
Comes with the challenges that we're talking about.
Exactly. He was going to join us from Ghana, and if
From Ghana.
he wasn't able to join us, it means the
No, there was a
infrastructure in
network
Ghana still
problem.
needs
Yeah,
improvement.
the
That's
power
already
got.
an
That's it.
opportunity there for somebody to hit the ground running and ensure you can have a stable enough
Yeah,
internet
yeah.
infrastructure for people to join
Exactly.
online to
Anywhere
do
you
what they
are.
need to do,
Yes.
and they're
Yeah.
not shut
Yeah.
out of a global discussion
Exactly.
because
You can
they
tell
just
this
don't.
is part of what we're talking about, and it's also is an advocate for youth investment. So yeah, and you can tell how technology could. That's why I asked that question as well. That even within the midst of it, or technology could be a challenge, and then
Mhm.
but it's not a stopper, because again, like you said, is things are evolving, and we keep learning, we keep growing. You said something very powerful. Not everything you can do now that you want to do now. Yes, you can do it, but not meant for now. You can strategize, you can plan. That's why we call it, strategic planning and execution of your ideas. There's things that you can put in place, particularly when you get somebody to lead you and guide you as to how that can evolve.
Mm.
Very powerful. Thank you so much for that.
Of
We will
course.
be rounding up,
Okay.
because at the end of the day, I'm not sure there's any question. If anybody has got any question to those who are joining with us, our IT guy as well in the
Mm.
background couldn't, because he needed to be posting the questions and the
Ah,
remarks,
okay.
but
Right.
I couldn't see the
Yeah.
remarks here.
Okay.
Apparently, yeah, because normally I should be able to see it from my
Okay.
end here as well, but something must have gone wrong. I should have been able to see. But again, sorry, and bear with us if we are unable to mention your name. So some people that I can see on LinkedIn here who joined from Oxfordshire, Ambassador Adebayo Ogunjobi from Oxfordshire. I can see, I just saw his name popping up on this one, but I
Ah,
couldn't see it clearly on this. But yeah, there
so
are a few
so
people
so
also joining.
even we didn't escape the um, technological gremlins. It means it means we can find opportunities for improvement and space for
Exactly,
which
exactly.
we can find a way
But
to do things
yeah, the
in a
good
much
thing is
better.
that this is monthly masterclass. It's monthly, and we will always come with exciting topics and discussing stuff great and depth around experience and expertise, and of course ensuring that people can actually, and like you said, you don't have to pay to learn things and to know how to do things, particularly to share knowledge and experience is key. It's very important. So thank you so much. The whole
My
essence of
pleasure.
what we've
Thank
talked about tonight is in around the youth investment, leadership, and industrialization centers around development, not just the potential workforce, you know particularly focusing on the youth, and of course those who, I mean, we didn't define the youth, but we we, as long as you're still within the workforce, you are one.
you.
Leadership therefore shapes them into effective contributors,
Mm.
and industrialization provides a platform for for their talents to flourish and driving economic and social progress. So each element supports and enhances the other, creating a sustainable ecosystem for continuous development. That is very true. So thank you so much for what you've
Thank
done
you.
today, for what you have come to do with us. So, friends, we are coming to the end of this masterclass, this edition, June edition. Another will be coming in the month of July. So, thank you so much for attending and participating in this masterclass. And more importantly, I want to thank our speaker, the discussant who have graciously, been here. If you are not here, I think we will have just postponed it because I couldn't be talking to people that I can see. But thank you so much. And I think Dr. Waheed, Dr. Musah Waheed will still want to feature, but maybe on a different topic this time around. We'll still try because I like him to meet with you on issue because I know you're both passionate about youth development and leadership particularly. So we will find another topic that is very interesting to helping people so that we can still do this. And then we run monthly podcasts as well. I mean, weekly podcasts where we already slated that you'll be coming on one of such as well, so that we talk. But that one is audio, and then we can also share. Especially people can play that on their Spotify, Google Play, Apple Play, and on the go. As you know, it's all about creating resource for people to learn and to be a better version of themselves. So thank you for coming, sir. And thank you for listening and attending this particular masterclass. And we hope you find it stimulating and educational. If you have any questions, comments, or inquiries, please visit our website at www.skillsmindset.com and leave us a message. One of our team members will reach out to you. We encourage you to subscribe and follow us on our various platforms so you don't miss any episodes of our podcast and our monthly masterclass. I encourage you, therefore, to approach every moment with courage and optimism. Keep pursuing your dreams with knowledge and unwavering passion. Until next time, take care and stay focused. Goodbye for now. So thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
It's very interesting, and I think I appreciate it. We spent over an hour discussing. That was a formal presentation. That was fantastic. Well done, sir. Well done.
Good.
I always know that you will deliver on those things anyway. So thank you. So I'll the next month, guys.
Okay.
See you then. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.